everybody, Josh12 back here again with another video, and I'm here with another Scream TV series episode review. I'm here to review episode 3, Wanna Play a Game. Of course, if you've not seen this episode, this review may contain spoilers, so please go check out the episode, then come back so we can talk about how shitty this episode was. Spoilers. That being said, wow, this episode, you know what, before I get into the actual episode, I really am finding it hard to really justify me watching this show. I really don't want to review it anymore. Like, it's just, like, the first episode was, okay, it's crappy, but let's see what happens. Episode 2 was a little better, but it had a lot of problems. This episode was just, if I had to get straight to the, if I have to, like, cut right to the end of this race here, it was a bore fest. This episode was incredibly boring. There was nothing interesting that was going on. I mean, yeah, there were some cool aspects of the show that I'll get into later, but overall, this episode was so incredibly boring. I mean, like, and that sucks because I know it sounds like I'm rebelling in the fact that I'm sitting here bashing this show. I don't want to bash it. I don't want to sit here and waste your guys' time by bashing this crappy show. I want this show to succeed on its own 2 feet, but it's not doing that. And that's why I'm sitting here bashing it. And that really sucks because I really enjoyed the Scream franchise, and I like the fact that it's a show, a series based on kids who are a fan of genres and are destroyed by the genres they like. This show depicts kids who are genre cliches and destroyed by their own cliches. And it just, it's I know it's kind of like splitting hairs in the way I'm kind of explaining it, but if you understand what I'm trying to get at, then kudos to you, but it doesn't work for me. That being said, there's a lot of things in this episode, in this series, that I just don't understand. It's a boring episode. Episode 3 is just incredibly boring. It's so boring, it's so painfully boring, rather, that my balls, every time I watch this episode, or when I was watching this episode, it was so incredibly painfully boring that my balls hurt and my left foot was numb. That's how incredibly boring this shit was. It was just, I just wanted to just leave and just come back and hopefully it was done. That was kind of like how I felt during the course of this episode, which really sucks because I was really expecting it to be a little bit more hardcore, like, as time went on, but it was just, oh god, it was boring. This episode was just so boring. It's just not a good episode. Of course, we're introduced to multiple other red herrings. We're open up to a whole bunch of other plot devices. Emma finds out that her mother was this Daisy character, and apparently, we find out the sole purpose as to why the shit's going down, because, the killer was, is he Tyler, that kid who, we already know he's fucking dead? Is he fucking the Mongoloid Jason claymation looking dude who couldn't get laid in high school? Probably, I don't know. And then there's this whole, like, taunting of the phone, texting just by me explaining it makes me angry at myself for even wanting to explain it. It's just so incredibly stupid and boring. It's just, why? That being said, things I liked about the episode, because I don't want to sit here and bash it all day. Things I liked about the episode: number 1, we got more kills. I complained in my 2 episodes that there's not really that, for a show that's based around slasher horror genre, there's not a lot of kills in this fucking series. There's like only a kill every episode, and that's it. Like, come on, like, have we not learned anything from the fucking Walking Dead? People should die on a daily basis, damn it. But no, it's just, one kid dies, another kid dies. We didn't really care about her, but we really cared about that girl. And now another girl dies, and it's really odd. But I give them kudos for actually killing more than one person in this episode. Granted, the first kill is a flashback where we get to see, I guess, some chick get her throat slit, and then Ghostface disappears, Jason style. I don't know how. Whatever. The other kid gets killed, with a stick. Okay, then right to the. I don't know. He gets stabbed in the eye with a stick. Moving off of that, there's obviously lots of interesting things that go down. Obviously, Emma's discovering a lot of things. She discovers that her mother's Daisy was interested in the dude who's possibly the Ghostface of today in real time, who's torturing Emma's friends and obviously taunting her over the phone through text, via text message, because, we're in the modern age. Why not? Via text this shit. Why call when you can text? In the context of this show, I'm actually glad that the killer texts, because if I had to continue to listen to that bullshit voice, I would shoot myself. This is how insane the Ghostface killer is. But that being said, the Emma thing, I really don't care for her character. I stated that before, so her discovering all these things doesn't matter. But the thing that I do like about what they introduced in this character and with this show is that she's given the choice as to who dies in the show, because there's a certain point in this episode where, spoilers if you haven't seen it, which is the only thing I liked about this episode, is where Tyler, the character of Tyler, the boyfriend of the super hot chick who was, too hot for her own good, got killed in episode 1. Essentially, that character is reaching out to his friends because allegedly he's still alive. Whatever, who cares? I don't follow it that closely to really understand or care. So that being said, they come in. He wants help. He doesn't want, to be involved with the cops. His friends backstab him because, why not? They're fucking rich, white high school kids who don't want to get ruined. Once again, kind of following in that I Know What You Did Last Summer kind of scenario where it's like, why trust other people and be honest and good-hearted when we can just backstab each other? Why not? Because I'm white and I'm rich and I have a scholarship and I am fucking awesome. Anyways, it's introduced that there's a lot of backstabbing going down, so they just come up with an entire scheme to backstab the character and try and bring him in to understand what's fully going down, because no one really understands anything in this show because everyone's incredibly stupid, and of course, the one kid who knows anything about horror just repeats himself over and over again, so fuck him. And Emma, who's the main lead, has no idea what she's doing. So, of course, she's brought to this greatest ultimatum, which is the best thing about this show, which is, who dies? You have the choice. Emma doesn't want to be tortured by Ghostface. Relatively easy. It's like, okay, well, I'm going to text you. Leave me alone. Okay, we're done. Fuck the friends. I'm already done. I'm in the clear. The Ghostface killer's focusing on other people. It's high school. I'll get over it. That's just my personal perspective, but let me know what you personally think. At the end of the day, she discovers the fact that she has the choice as to who Ghostface actually kills in this episode. Is it the good girl? Is it the bad girl? Is it the fucking cutesy, fucking good girl who's fucking dating the Noah kid, who I'll get into in a second because I really didn't care for that relationship in this episode. But then you go for the super slutty hot chick who's dating the fucking, the teacher who's really too good looking to be a teacher in that kind of a school. I'm just saying, in my many years of going to public and private schools, I've never been in a school where male teachers were that kind of good looking. I'm just saying, anyways, that being said, moving off of that, a lot of weird, illogical things going down, but moving off of that bullshit, there's an ultimatum that's really awesome, where she has to choose who's gonna die. Is it her friend that she really likes, who's a good girl, or is it her friend that she probably doesn't really like, and she's kind of a bitch and a slut, but she's super hot, so of course she has to live, because when she's gone, there's no super hot chicks in the show anymore. So yeah, of course the good girl gets killed. Why not? The show doesn't know what it's doing anyway, so fuck it. She gets killed by Ghostface really, really terribly, I might add. Once again, Ghostface in general, when it pertains to the franchise, he's not really the best killer, so I can't really give the show credit for, or discredit them for coming up with such a crappy kill. But, God, couldn't he have done better? I mean, he just came in and, was taunting her for a second. She could have gotten away so easily. I mean, the guy was walking like the fucking fisherman from I Know What You Did Last Summer when, obviously, we know you're human. You have the capability of running. You're not Michael Myers, so you can run. You do realize that, right? I don't know. Whatever. That being said, she gets killed, stabbed in the back, stabbed in the leg. She bleeds out to death, and that's pretty much the general gist of her dying. Really unsatisfied kill, but I'm going to give them credit. I'm going to give them some form of credit because at least they killed more than one person this fucking episode, so kudos to them. But that being said, yeah, this episode was really boring and really lame. I really didn't like it. I really was hoping to like it because, as I stated before, I don't want to sit here and bash this episode all day, but this show in this episode was so incredibly boring, lame, shitty, very terribly written, terribly executed, and terribly acted. So yeah, that being said, the only real thing I liked about it was like the entire third act. I like the ultimatum that Emma is given, where like who's gonna die? Is it the good girl? Is it the bad girl? If it were me, I would be like, fuck all of them. I don't care. I mean, like I'm in high school. I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna go to California. Fuck it. It's okay. That's just me. I don't know. It's just I'm lying. I would actually kind of find that difficult. It really depends. If it was like my high school, I think I would have just said fuck them because I really didn't like anybody from high school except for my good old friend Evil Scar 23. So. But then again, he dropped out, so he wouldn't even be involved. I don't even know why I'm getting so personal in this fucking review. But that being said, I just found it kind of weird that it was such a big decision. Like, who do I choose? It's like, isn't it kind of easy? You choose the fucking bad girl to die. You don't even like her that much, and all she does is shit on you and talk shit and fucks the really good looking teacher. I don't know. Anyways, moving on for that, other things I really disliked about this episode, it has to be the two male acts in this show. I don't even know what their names are, so fuck it. The really two good-looking dudes who don't know what they're doing and are terrible actors, those guys. I have no idea what they continue to talk about, and they really focus on that in this episode, where they're consistently talking to each other. It's like, where's the money, dude? Where's the money? We need to fucking bury the truth. Like, what is this? I don't understand. Like, maybe it's because I really don't care about this series that I haven't followed the details or, have read between the lines, subliminal messaging that closely, but I don't really understand what their purpose in the show is or what they're really pertaining towards. In the comment section below, for those of you who are actually watching this show very closely and find my review very disrespectful, please in the comment section below, please clarify what these characters are really doing and what their purpose is, because I really don't know. It's like, okay, they're talking about money, they're talking about Tyler, they're talking about that one chick who I guess one of them was fucking and one of them was recording on a webcam. I don't know what the heck they're doing. I don't know what they're talking about. And I also really don't care. And a lot of that has to do with their acting abilities that are not that great. That being said, other things I really didn't like, Noah and that one girl's relationship. As you know, Noah is a character I kind of like, but after this episode, I really don't like him anymore. He's just really annoying. He doesn't really say anything really of general interest, and he kind of repeats himself. Like, every single thing he has to talk about, whether it pertains to the kills, the death that they're dealing with, or the general horror references that he can come up with, he doesn't really say anything that's honestly helpful in the situation that all these kids are in. It's like and also they kind of like spoon-fed you this really weird relationship between her and the girl, him and the girl rather, where they're like, okay, they're finally gonna have sex, they're having this whole thing, and I come to a full realization, people. I found that characters who are nerdy, who are super nerds in TV shows and movies, I found a reason as to why they don't get laid in the TV shows and movies that they're in. Because it's incredibly fucking boring. Their entire relationship throughout this episode was so incredibly boring and unsatisfying, where I was like, wow, I get it. Now I know why nerds get shitted on. Because they suck at relationships. It's so incredibly, it's like realizing the truth. I finally know why. Because they suck, and I really don't care. That's why. Because it's like, and don't get me wrong, there's lots of nerds in movies and TV shows that really get the girl, and it's really satisfying, and it's executed well. This is not that. It's really done terribly. And I feel like, unless you're like a famous dude who's playing a nerdy guy, or unless that nerdy guy in the property that he's acting in is like, has superpowers like fucking the Flash or Spider-Man, it's like, I don't care if you get the girl anymore. I really don't. It's just like, your shitty relationship is so boring and unsatisfying. Like, I don't even care. And the second that girl dies, spoilers, it's like, I don't care about Noah, and I don't care about her, and I really don't care how the relationship ends, because there's not enough time, there's not enough execution, there's not enough outline and blueprints to me being invested with their relationship. I get it, like, oh wow, they were so good together and they were so nice and cute. Oh, so that's kind of how I feel. It's like, I don't care. That being said, this episode, other things I really didn't like, pretty much the entire episode I did not like. So if there was something else I really had to point out that I really enjoyed was the ultimatum that Emma's given, the fact that they killed more than one person in this episode, and I guess the sequences that take place in the classroom. I'm not really big on the fact that they've taken this whole weird story point where like the really super hot slutty chick is like dating the really unnaturally good looking male teacher. I don't like that idea, but however, I like the sequences they had in that fucking classroom. I don't know why, but I wish, and I know they're not going to do this, but I really hope that at one point in this season, they just dedicate an entire episode to just being in a classroom talking about genre movies. Like that whole sequence where they're just hanging out and the music's playing and he's like trying to find like that naked photo of the chick where it's like, what are you doing? Like okay, the logic, fuck logic once again, but it's funny and it's entertaining and I get it. It's cool. It's she's fucking with him and it's a weirdly bad scenario and he's like coming up with projects on the spot. I like that. I thought it was kind of funny and entertaining and I just wish they would spend more time in the classroom discussing genre movies. That's kind of like what I liked. Like, the best part of Scream 2 was that one sequence when Jamie Kennedy is with the rest of the class discussing Terminator and Aliens and sequels and tons of movies. That was my favorite part of Scream 2, and I was kind of like hoping that they would kind of do that in this show, which they kind of do in episode 1 and 2, but they don't really go all the way and they don't stay there for a long period of time. So, hopefully at some point in this episode, in this series, or at least in this season, they at least dedicate one half of the episode in a classroom talking about movies. That's kind of like my hopes, but I know they're not going to do it because they have to dedicate more screen time to Emma and her shitty relationships with those two really good-looking dudes, and the fact that her mom was this Daisy chick who didn't want to fuck the Mongoloid dude who is possibly Ghostface. Whatever. Anyways. Let me know what you personally think. I have to give this a 4.5 out of 10. I know it's a really low rating, but this is a really boring episode that I really didn't like. I mean, I personally think episode 1 and 2 were a little better, but with the way this show's going, I really can't wait to stop watching this show, and I really can't wait to just start watching Scream Queens and, freaking Ash vs. Evil Dead. Those are kind of like the horror TV shows that I'm really looking forward to, especially Scream Queens, because I'm just saying, once again, Emma Roberts and Jamie Lee Curtis in the show together, yeah, that's awesome. That being said, let me know what you personally think in the comment section below. Before I go, I wanted to give a shout out to a viewer of mine who gave me a hilarious comment on my episode 1 review of Scream TV series that I just had to give him a shout out. Let me read his comment real quick, which I thought was hysterical. The show sucks. This political correct BS is so stupid. Who shames somebody for being a lesbian? ? In my high school, it was the complete opposite. So stupid, especially considering that gay marriage is now officially legal. Fuck this show and fuck Noah. He is such a smarmy bastard. I hope he dies. On a positive note, I'd fuck the hell out of Emma. So that was pretty much a comment from a YouTuber that I guess liked my review. Shout out to Really Robinson for commenting. I know it's kind of pointless, but I don't know. When I first saw that comment, I just laughed my ass off. I thought it was hysterical. So hopefully you enjoyed my review if you're watching it again. And of course, hopefully for those of you who are watching this review overall, if you liked that comment, maybe if you send me some more comments, I could do some more shout outs. That being said, subscribe to my channel. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Been John 12.